Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. I'm Jess, and today our quiz is a Generation X trivia quiz. So, 100 questions coming up. Let's go. What groundbreaking television channel debuted in the 1980s, airing Video Killed the Radio Star as its first video? MTV, VH1, or BET? MTV. Which 1970s sitcom introduced an alien character famously saying "Nanu Nanu" and became a cultural phenomenon? Mork and Mindy, Happy Days, or All in the Family? It was Mork and Mindy. What iconic arcade game featured a plumber jumping over barrels while trying to rescue his girlfriend from an ape? Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, or Pac-Man? Donkey Kong. What hairstyle made famous in the 1980s was defined by excessive hairspray and high-volume teased hair? Perm, beehive, or mohawk? It was the perm. Which animated sailor exclaimed, "I am what I am," while gaining strength from eating spinach in every episode? Wimpy, Brutus, or Popeye? Popeye. In the movie Dirty Dancing, which character said the famous line, "Nobody puts baby in the corner"? Johnny, Robbie, or Neil? It was Johnny. Which long-running science fiction TV show featured a time-travelling alien with regenerating abilities and a blue police box? Doctor Who, Star Trek, or Quantum Leap? Doctor Who. In Star Wars, what colour was Luke Skywalker's original lightsaber handed to him by Obi-Wan Kenobi? Red, green, or blue? It was blue. Who performed the moonwalk on live television during the 1983 Motown 25th anniversary celebration broadcast? Michael Jackson, Prince, or Lionel Richie? Of course, it was Michael Jackson's famous move. What 1980s film featured characters bonding over breakfast, detention, and famously claimed were all pretty bizarre? The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, or Pretty in Pink? The Breakfast Club. Which comedy duo became famous for their catchphrase, "Well, isn't that special?" on Saturday Night Live? Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd, or Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks? Dana Carey and Mike Myers. What was the name of the robotic maid serving George Jetson's family on the popular futuristic cartoon The Jetsons? Betty, Rosie, or Millie? It was Rosie. In the 1970s, which television character owned a pet pig named Arnold that became a fan favourite? Oliver Douglas, Sam Drucker, or Eb Dawson? Oliver Douglas. Who won the Academy Award for Best Actor in the film Rain Man, playing an autistic servant? Dustin Hoffman, Tom Cruise, or Gene Hackman? Dustin Hoffman? In which historic year did the Berlin Wall fall, signalling the end of decades-long division in Germany? 1987, 1991, or 1989? 1989. What fashion trend of the 1980s included bright neon leg warmers, often paired with oversized sweatshirts during aerobic workouts? Preppy style, fitness craze, or punk fashion? The fitness craze look. Which 1970s movie about a girl possessed by a demon became one of the scariest horror films in cinematic history? The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, or Poltergeist? The Exorcist. What was the first music video ever played on MTV in 1981, featuring a band breaking into television sets? Video Killed the Radio Star, Thriller, or Money for Nothing? Just checking if you're paying attention. Video Killed the Radio Star. What handheld toy featuring twisting coloured squares became a sensation among puzzle lovers in the early 1980s? Rubik's Cube, Magic 8 Ball, or Etch-a-Sketch? Rubik's Cube. Which 1980s teen movie was directed by John Hughes and featured the iconic boombox over-the-head scene? Say Anything, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or Pretty in Pink? Say Anything. What 1970s TV series about a trucker and his pet chimpanzee was named after their CB radio handles? The Dukes of Hazzard, Smokey and the Bandit, or BJ and the Bear? BJ and the Bear. Which late 1970s arcade game challenged players to protect spaceships from pixelated alien invaders? Space Invaders, Asteroids, or Galaga? Space Invaders. Which 1980s film starring Matthew Broderick centered on a teenager who hacked into a US military supercomputer? The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or War Games? War Games. In the early 1980s, what dance craze involved spinning on the ground and moving robotically to music beats? Breakdancing, the hustle, or the moonwalk? It was breakdancing. Were you there in your shell suit in the 1980s? Which 1970s band wrote songs about Hotel California and the peaceful, easy feeling? Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, or the Doobie Brothers? It's the Eagles. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Which computer launched in 1984 became famous for its graphical user interface and the slogan, Think Different? Apple Macintosh, IBM PC, or Commodore 64? Did you have any of those? It was the Apple Macintosh. What household gadget of the 1970s and 80s was promoted with the phrase, set it and forget it? Toaster oven, microwave oven, or slow cooker? The slow cooker. What video game console introduced in 1985 featured Mario as its star character, becoming a massive hit worldwide? Atari 2600, Sega Master System, or Nintendo Entertainment System? Nintendo Entertainment System. What 1980s electronic device introduced the concept of recording TV shows onto magnetic tapes for later viewing? VCR, Laserdisc, or reel-to-reel recorder? VCR. I'm sure I've still got some of those. In the 1970s, what popular camera allowed people to see their photographs instantly after snapping them? Polaroid, Kodak Instamatic, or Canon AE1? The Polaroid. Remember shaking them until the picture came out? Which tech company launched the Walkman in 1979, revolutionizing portable music listening? Sony, Panasonic, or Philips? It was Sony. What was the first widely used home computer from the 1980s, known for being simple and affordable? Commodore 64, Apple II, or Sinclair ZX Spectrum? It was the Commodore 64. I definitely had a Sinclair Spectrum. What trendy 1980s footwear had rubber soles and bright colours and was associated with aerobics culture? Nike Air Max, Converse All-Stars, or Reebok Freestyle sneakers? Reebok Freestyle sneakers. Which device popularised the term pocket calculator in the 1970s and replaced bulky desktop calculators for everyday maths tasks? Sharp EL8, Casio Mini, or Texas Instruments calculator? Those famous Casio Minis. Did you have one? Which 1980s digital watch brand included basic games and became a status symbol among school-aged kids? Casio, Timex, or Seiko? The Casio watch. What iconic 1970s party snack made of melted cheese and salsa was often served with tortilla chips? Deviled eggs, spinach dip, or nachos? Nachos. Which type of decor became a trend in 1970s homes, featuring orange and brown colours and shag carpets? Bohemian style, retro modern, or mid-century modern? Retro modern. What fitness trend of the 1980s included classes with upbeat music and signature leg warmers? Zumba, Pilates, or Jazzercise? It was Jazzercise. In the 1970s, what type of leisurewear became popular, combining a zipper front top with matching elastic waist pants? Tracksuit, jumpsuit, or bell-bottom jeans? It was the tracksuit. What type of 1980s soda became infamous for its brief appearance as an unsuccessful reformulation of a classic brand? New Coke, Crystal Pepsi, or Tab? New Coke. Which famous 1980s environmental disaster involved a massive oil spill off the coast of Alaska, causing global outrage? Exxon Valdez spill, Deepwater Horizon, or Santa Barbara spill? Exxon Valdez spill. What 1970s scandal involving a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters led to US President's resignation? Iran-Contra, Teapot Dome, or Watergate? Watergate. In 1981, which world leader survived an assassination attempt while waving to crowds at St. Peter's Square? Pope John Paul II, Ronald Reagan, or Margaret Thatcher? Pope John Paul II. What 1970s Supreme Court decision made headlines by legalizing abortion across the United States? Roe v. Wade, Brown v. Board, or Griswold v. Connecticut? Roe v. Wade. What 1980s Cold War event involved American and Soviet leaders signing a treaty to reduce nuclear weapons? Reykjavik Summit Accord, SALT II Agreement, or INF Treaty? INF Treaty. What 1970s cultural phenomenon saw women burning bras as a symbol of liberation? Feminist movement, hippie revolution, or era protests? Feminist movement. Who became the first female Prime Minister in 1979, known as the Iron Lady? Elizabeth II, Theresa May, or Margaret Thatcher? Of course, Margaret Thatcher. What 1980s invention helped create the concept of home workouts, allowing people to follow exercise routines on TV? VHS tapes, cable TV, or home video players? VHS tapes. In 1977, what New York City event caused widespread looting and highlighted the city's financial troubles? The blackout, garbage strike, or subway derailment? The blackout. Which famous 1980s protest in Beijing ended tragically with tanks sent to suppress student demonstrators? Hong Kong sit-in, Democracy Wall, or Tiananmen Square? Tiananmen Square. What music genre featuring synthesizers and futuristic sounds rose to prominence in the late 70s and early 80s? New wave, grunge, or disco? New wave. What 1980s music video showcased Michael Jackson transforming into a werewolf during its legendary dance sequence? Thriller, Beat It, or Billie Jean? Amazing music video was Thriller. What groundbreaking 1980s video game popularized the side-scrolling platform format? Donkey Kong, Metroid, or Super Mario Bros? Super Mario Bros. What popular 1980s TV show featured a Miami detective team and became iconic for its pastel suits and fast cars? Miami Vice, Magnum PI, or Hill Street Blues? Miami Vice. What 1970s rock band famously sang Don't Stop Believing and became a symbol of perseverance? Journey, Boston, or Kansas? That was Journey, a great song. What 1980s MTV segment introduced audiences to popular music videos presented by on-air hosts called VJs? MTV Countdown, Total Request Live, or MTV Music Video Hour? MTV Countdown. What 1980s movie launched the career of Tom Cruise, featuring him dancing in socks to old-time rock and roll? Top Gun, Risky Business, or All the Right Moves? Risky Business. What groundbreaking 1984 album by Prince featured hits like Purple Rain and When Doves Cry? Sign of the Times, 1999, or Purple Rain? No trick questions, it's Purple Rain. Which 80s TV show featured a team of private investigators working for a mysterious millionaire named Thomas Magnum? Knight Rider, Magnum PI, or the A-Team? Magnum PI. Which 1980s fashion accessory worn around the neck or tied as a headband was a symbol of rebellion? Bandana, chain necklace, or scrunchie? A bandana. What electronic pet toy of the 1990s had users caring for virtual creatures on tiny screens? Tamagotchi, Furby, or Gigapet? Tamagotchi. In the 1980s, what brand of sneakers became a pop culture icon after appearing in the movie Back to the Future? Nike, Reebok, or Adidas? Nike. What 1980s craze had people exercising to upbeat music in colourful leotards and leg warmers? Aerobics, jazzercise, or Pilates? Aerobics. Which hairstyle popularised in the 1980s was often described as business in the front, party in the back? Mullet, mohawk, or perm? The mullet. What sugary breakfast cereal introduced a ghost mascot named Boo Berry in the 1970s? Count Chocula, Boo Berry, or Frankenberry? Boo Berry, no trickies. Which 1980s fast food slogan dared customers to find better quality elsewhere with "Where's the beef?" Wendy's, Burger King, or McDonald's? Wendy's. What 1970s Saturday morning cartoon featured heroes such as Superwoman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman working as a team? Legion of Heroes, Justice League, or Super Friends? Super Friends. Which 1980s trend encouraged children to collect and trade colourful puffy stickers with unique designs? Puffy stickers, Lisa Frank stickers, or scratch and sniff stickers? Puffy stickers. I was of the scratch and sniff generation. What about you? Let me know. Which 1977 tech product was launched by Apple, changing the way people interacted with computers? iMac, Macintosh, or Apple II? The Apple II. 1983, which gaming company faced a crash after overproducing a poorly received game about a famous movie? Atari, Nintendo, or Sega? Atari. What 1980s innovation revolutionized portable music listening, letting users carry cassettes in their pockets? Walkman, Discman, or boombox? Checking you've been paying attention. The Walkman. What spacecraft launched in 1977 is still travelling through space, carrying a golden record of Earth sounds? Voyager 1, Pioneer 10, or New Horizons? Voyager 1. What 1980s home computer famous for gaming was advertised as the computer for the masses, not the classes. ZX Spectrum, Atari 800, or Commodore 64? Commodore 64. Which 1986 space shuttle tragically exploded shortly after takeoff, causing a global outpouring of grief? Challenger, Columbia, or Discovery? Challenger. What 1970s electronic game featured blinking lights and required players to repeat increasingly complex patterns? Simon, Pong, or Atari Strobe? Simon. And I still have a Simon now. Which movie released in 1984 featured a group of kids fighting off ghosts in New York City? Ghostbusters, The Goonies, or E.T.? Ghostbusters. What 1980s kids show taught maths and problem solving with the help of a red trench coat wearing thief? Maths Blaster, Reading Rainbow, or Where in the World? Carmen Sandiego. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. What 1980s movie starred Kevin Bacon as a city kid bringing dance back to a conservative town? Footloose, Dirty Dancing, or Flashdance? It was Footloose. Which 1980s cartoon featured 4 turtle heroes named after Renaissance artists? G.I. Joe, DuckTales, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Which sitcom popular in the 1980s revolved around the lives of 4 older women living together in Miami? The Golden Girls, Designing Women, or Cheers? The Golden Girls. Which 1979 animated movie about a group of alien robots was the foundation for a massive media franchise? Transformers the movie, Flash Gordon, or He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? Transformers the movie. Which popular 1980s TV show about a high school group called the Brat Pack focused on their friendships? Saved by the Bell, 21 Jump Street, or The Breakfast Club? Saved by the Bell. What iconic 1980s talk show host was known for his colourful jackets and "How's it going?" catchphrase? Johnny Carson, David Letterman, or Jay Leno? Johnny Carson. Which animated series originally aired in 1987 features a man named Toad Warrior fighting mutant creatures? Thundercats, Biker Mice from Mars, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Biker Mice from Mars. Which 1980s animated series featured a group of heroic, shape-shifting animals saving the world from evil? Thundercats, Voltron, Defender of the Universe, or He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? Voltron, Defender of the Universe. What 1980s movie featured a teen who had to navigate high school romance and a new family in an often hilarious way? Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, or Ferris Bueller's Day Off? 16 Candles. What was the name of the fictional character portrayed by John Ritter in the 1977 sitcom Three's Company? Jack Tripper, Larry Dallas, or Tony Banter? Jack Tripper. Which 1980s hit song by Michael Jackson was known for its famous moonwalk dance move? Billie Jean, Thriller, or Beat It? It was Billie Jean. Which 1980s event saw the first ever space shuttle launch with the Columbia Space Shuttle carrying the first astronaut teacher? Space Shuttle Challenger, Space Shuttle Discovery, or Space Shuttle Teacher's Flight? Space Shuttle Teacher's Flight. In 1989, which European country witnessed massive anti-communist demonstrations contributing to the fall of the Berlin Wall? Hungary, Poland, or Czechoslovakia? Hungary. Which 1970s film starring Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford was based on the Watergate scandal? Chinatown, The Godfather, or All the President's Men? All the President's Men. Which global sports event was held in Los Angeles in 1984, with the US boycotting the previous event in Moscow? Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics, or World Cup? The Summer Olympics. What was the name of the covert US operation in the 1980s that aimed to provide aid to Afghan rebels fighting Soviet forces? Operation Rolling Thunder, Operation Cyclone, or Operation Desert Storm? Operation Cyclone. Which 1980s event marked the tragic explosion of a nuclear reactor in the Soviet Union, spreading radioactive fallout? Chernobyl disaster, 3 Mile Island, or Fukushima? The Chernobyl disaster. What event in 1989 led to a peaceful overthrow of Romania's communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu? Prague Spring, Velvet Revolution, or Romanian Revolution? Romanian Revolution. In 1983, which military operation led to the US invasion of Grenada, aiming to protect American citizens? Operation Desert Storm, Operation Just Cause, or Operation Urgent Fury? Operation Urgent Fury. In 1983, which military operation led to the US invasion of Grenada, aiming to protect American citizens? Motorola, Nokia, or Samsung? Motorola. What invention introduced in the 1980s made it possible to send digital images over phone lines, revolutionizing communication? Fax machine, email, or internet? Fax machine. What was the first video game to ever be played in space by astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle in 1993? Tetris, Super Mario Bros., or Space Invaders? Tetris. And your last one. Which iconic 1980s rock band, known for their hit Sweet Child of Mine and their electrifying performances? Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, or Aerosmith? Of course, Guns N' Roses. So, how did you do today? Drop your score in the comments below, and of course, please like and subscribe so you get notified every time we post a new quiz. And please join us next time on Quiz Time.